In this video, we're going to look at why people love Toughbuilt so much. We're going to look at the clip system, how it all latches. But by the end of this video, you might be saying, Toughbuilt who? There's a bunch of new offers out that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Let's look at the first one. This is also Prolock. It uses the same clip system. Actually, the Toughbuilt clips actually fit on the Prolock system. So if you're worried about not having as many clips as you once had, you can see where they're compatible. The difference is that those clips are actually metal, as witnessed by this magnet. This one features two pockets. One of the things that really drew me towards this system was how thin it is. Just like the Toughbuilt, it's also narrow, and that's what makes this great. Some of the Vitos in your more expensive choices end up being too boxy, and they kind of stick off your hip too far. That's my personal preference. You can see you got a slot for your tape measure, two levels, two pairs of channel locks. You got your all-in-one nut driver, hollow from Klein. We've got our conduit reamer. We've got our multi-wrench, 7/16, half inch, 5/16, and 3/8 all in one here, just like the nut driver. And then you got some bit storage. This is how it latches. Clips on very easily, much like your Toughbuilt. This is where it's going to ride on your hip. You can see we're really not shoving these tools in anywhere. We're just kind of going where we got them from. Not too low, not too high like some brands. You got access to just about everything you need very quickly. All in all, not a bad choice. That's for pipe running. Let's load out the Toughbuilt in the same way. The Toughbuilt has a tape measure clip, has a spot for your conduit reamer, maybe has a spot for your nut driver. You got your channel locks, conduit reamer might go here. You got a spot for your level. There's your Toughbuilt option with the same amount of tools loaded in. You can see where it's definitely a little bit tighter. These pocket loops here were essentially useless. They're not useful for anything with this setup. They just don't really fit anything specifically, even like a standard screwdriver. If we want to take a screwdriver, you can see where it's going to sit on top there. Let's take a look at the Prolock. Here's your trim out option from Prolock. We got space for a multimeter. We've got diagonal cutters. We've got the wire strippers. We've got two screwdrivers in here. We snuck another screwdriver back here just because we could. And we also put two pairs of Kleins in the back here also because we could. Just to show you how much this fits. Plus you still got your bit storage. You got more bit storage up here. And you got a spot for your utility knife. If we try to load this in the... If we try to load this in the Toughbuilt, let's see how much room we got. We're just not going to be able to get the same amount of tools. So we're going to keep the full size Kleins and we're not going to try to show off and just fit a whole bunch of stuff in here. We're back to our useless screwdriver pouches or slots. They work okay. They could do better. They just choose not to. And that's what bugs me so much. This pouch has been out for so long and these loops are very generic. We don't have any space for a multimeter here. I don't really want to hurt my leads, but I do want to get this multimeter in here. There's what your Toughbuilt loadout looks like for trim. Let's look at another option from Klein. Let's look at this option from Klein. We get a lot more space here for $40. We've got some really good options. The belt clip, similar to the Toughbuilt, offers a cant. Definitely hangs differently. Let's look at how this thing hangs. If we were to look at the Toughbuilt, it sits right here. That's the top of my car keys right here. You can see where this just sits. Right about there. We'll use that to kind of gauge. And even when we load it down with tools, it really doesn't have anywhere to go. We could really load it down. And you can see where it's just going to sit right there on that line. If we look at the climb, we're pretty much sitting beyond the key line here, like just above my kneecap. And it definitely sits a little bit lower, and it just doesn't sit as good as other options. That's the best way I can tell you this. If we look at the standard climb, let's look at where this pouch kind of came from. Our gator back here, this is still the best option for construction. If you're doing construction, this is what you got to get. You can see we're back up at the keys again, and you're going to see this pouch looks very familiar. The layout is almost identical. You can see where it gets a little bit thinner. We don't have this back storage pocket like we do on this one, but we do have 2 slots here, which work really good for channel locks. One here and one there. If we go to the other climb side, one here, one there. You can see just because of the way that it hangs, it's going to sit lower, almost about that much lower than a standard tool pouch. That's going to be some of the major differences between the Toughbuilt and the Prolock. This is about $20. This is also about $20. You can get this one for about $15, and you get these at Lock Supply. They say Lock Supply on them. It's an electrical, HVAC, and plumbing supply house, and it's open to the public. It's not just wholesale. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, let me know in the comments below. Sub for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.